So obviously that is D major and B minor, which would technically be, we're doing D major, and B minor would be the other scale that's in there. But the funny thing is, and getting to where we are right now, and having done most, I would say we're mostly there, getting to the end. There's a few more videos to go, but we're more than halfway there. The funny thing, that happens with this particular mode or scale is we've seen D major and B major in some other progressions, or yes, definitely in different progressions, but we saw them in other scales. Obviously, in the very first video, when we did G major and E minor, we had D major and B minor in there as well. And when we did A major and F sharp minor, we had D major and B minor. Now, when we're talking about B minor and D major, most likely we'll as always we'll keep it major. So when we're talking about that, what chords do we find in this scale? Well, we find, of course, the B major, we find the D major and the B minor. We also find the G major, the E minor, the A major, and the F sharp minor. Now you can go back and look at those other two scales, technically four, to see what the differences are, between them, and why they're so similar, and why all the chords are in D major. Obviously, the big change would be C sharp diminished. Obviously was not in those other ones. Obviously, when it comes to G major, you're dealing with a natural C, and then I guess the big difference, because A major will also have the F sharp and the C sharp, but obviously it's not a G, it's a G sharp in the A major scale. So obviously those are your differences there. But you can go back and look at them. Obviously I pulled up the fretboard here. So just talk real quick about the notes that we're using here. We're using D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, and C sharp. So again, D major, E Dorian, F sharp Phrygian, G Lydian, A Mixolydian, B minor, and C sharp Locrian. And as I said, you're going to find them all in here. So you got the D, your D major as your 1 chord, E minor as your 2 chord, F sharp minor as your 3 chord, G major as your 4 chord, A major as your 5 chord, B minor as your 6 chord, and C sharp diminished as your 7th chord, and leading right back to D major. So as I always talk about, if you've practiced doing the, basically the different shapes, you would just, again, from before, if you keep going down half a step, you're going to get right to where we are in D. from where we were before, and you know, I mean, you could try and do, keep it in the related in doing this. Well, I guess when everything's all said and done, to kind of see how, because obviously, the way that D major related to G major and A major, you'll find that in other, so that those are just ways to modulate. So let's get back to the guitar and just mess around with some D major stuff and some of the other modes that are in there. So I'm gonna play some chords. Actually, I came up with some stuff, just messing around, even just So I did mess up adding a C, I believe is where I messed up there, but not a big deal. If you're doing it, you mess up, just keep going, stay within your, just trying to get it all down. Obviously, I've been good to get it over to the C sharp. A trick, if you do mess up, and just bend it. Mess up, get it back in there. But I mean, I think the cool thing in doing this, that wasn't a metal sounding riff, and that's mostly what I write. But I want to do the clean tone just to get the sound and do a couple things. But you could definitely work that out. Maybe take some of the chord tones, make power chords, and use some of the chord tones to solo, or do like a leading riff. I really like this chord, and I really like this chord, which comes out of, this, depending on, it could be A, could be D. You can get a bunch of weird chords just because it does have, again, this is one of the perfect scales for the guitar. The fact that it does use the E, the A, the D, the G, the B, and the E, and you have all those open sounds that you can mess around. Obviously, unless you tune the guitar differently, you don't have that option with some of the other ones we talked about. But this is as good a time as any to wrap it up. Wow, it went a lot longer than I thought, but good scale.